There is a place beyond the silence, where time no longer holds dominion. It is neither here nor there, but it pulses, just beyond the threshold of ordinary perception. When the body dissolves and breath leaves the lungs for the last time, something ancient awakens. The spirit, no longer confined by flesh, begins a journey not toward oblivion, but toward remembrance. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, glimpsed what many fear to see. He spoke not of ends, but of returns, sacred destinations, where the soul, untethered, finds meaning again. According to Cayce, death is but a door, and beyond it are places, real, vibrating realms, where spirit gathers, reflects, heals, and prepares. These aren't random destinations. They are orchestrated by vibration, by soul purpose, by the resonance each being carries within. The afterlife, he suggested, is not a static paradise or punishment, but a continuum, a journey tailored by consciousness itself. In this chapter, we begin to pull back the veil not with curiosity alone, but with reverence. The first truth Cayce shared was that the spirit does not drift aimlessly. It is drawn magnetically to one of several key places, dimensions, planes of learning, each reflecting the energy accumulated in life. These are not heavens or hells in the traditional sense, but zones of frequency. Just as sound vibrates differently in air than in water, so too does the soul resonate with specific realms, depending on its development, choices, and inner alignment. One of these sacred destinations is what Cayce called the Hall of Records. Not a physical library, but a living archive, a dimension where the Akashic memory of all lives, thoughts, and intentions is stored. Here the soul revisits its own narrative, not to be judged, but to understand. This place, he said, is enveloped in light, but it is not light as we know it. It is a conscious field, imbued with wisdom and love. The spirit, freshly departed, is not greeted by beings of punishment or reward, but by the resonance of its own life, reflected back like a mirror made of energy. In this reflection, the soul chooses, not with guilt or pride, but with clarity, where to go next, what to learn, whom to meet again. It is in this space that the blueprint for the next incarnation may be traced, or where rest and recalibration may be chosen instead. Each path is valid, each return is sacred, but before any return to Earth or any other dimension, there is a pause, a stillness. Cayce spoke of a transition zone he called the interlife, a realm of contemplation where guides appear not to direct but to illuminate. These guides are not strangers, they are fragments of soul family, sometimes mistaken for angels. Their role is to help the spirit remember its essence, its agreements, its wounds, and its gifts, and then slowly the veil thins. To approach these truths is not to escape the world, but to see it more clearly. We are not merely humans who have spiritual experiences. We are spirits, momentarily human, destined to return, not once, but many times, through realms shaped by love, learning, and vibration. This journey through the 5 places is not theory. It is memory, ancient, buried deep within ourselves. With every breath of stillness, we remember a little more. Are you ready to walk further? If these words touched your soul, subscribe to the channel and click on the video that just appeared on your screen. It was chosen especially for you. I know you'll love it. Beyond the Hall of Records lies a realm unlike any on Earth, a sanctuary of silence known by Edgar Cayce as the Plane of Rest. Here spirit is no longer in motion, but in deep stillness. Not the stillness of emptiness, but of sacred integration. Imagine the feeling of finally understanding a lesson that once caused you pain. Not with the mind, but with the soul. That is the vibration of this place. A vibration that heals not by doing, but by being. This realm is not bright or dark, but softly luminous. Time moves differently here, if it moves at all. The spirit is held, not judged, wrapped in waves of peace that permeate deeper than thought. Cayce described this plane as necessary for those who carried the weight of suffering through their incarnation, those who poured themselves into others or endured great trials. In the plane of rest, no effort is asked of them. The only task is to receive. Receive what? The soul receives the echo of its own courage, the residue of love given freely, the blessings that went unnoticed in life. This is not reward in the traditional sense. It is recognition, a spiritual acknowledgement that what was lived mattered, even if the world never saw it. In this space, nothing is wasted. No act of kindness, no silent prayer, no moment of truth is forgotten. Some souls stay here longer than others. especially those who carried grief as a second skin or lived lifetimes of sacrifice. The rest is not passive. It is a kind of sacred sleep where the soul gently releases the frequencies of trauma and fatigue. In this soft, unwinding, energy rebalances. And only when the spirit feels whole again, when the soul has exhaled centuries of sorrow, does it move forward. Cayce insisted that this realm was not an escape, but a bridge, a necessary interval before deeper journeys. Here, the soul begins to remember its eternal nature, not through visions or instruction, but through vibration. The spirit becomes reacquainted with its original tone, the pure note it sang before time began. This remembrance is not dramatic. It is subtle, like the sound of wind through leaves or the weightlessness of a dream. For some, this plane offers a moment of choice: continue the cycle of reincarnation or remain in higher realms for spiritual study and service. But even the choice is held in love without pressure or expectation. The universe, Cayce taught, does not punish or persuade. It invites, and the spirit, renewed, listens more clearly after rest. Many who experience near-death states unknowingly glimpse this place. They speak of floating, of peace so vast it cannot be described, of colors not seen on earth, and a love so complete it erases all fear. What they touch is real, a fragment of this plane, where the soul, unburdened, remembers it was never alone. In this second destination, we begin to realize that the afterlife is not distant or strange. It is familiar. The soul is not cast into mystery, but guided homeward, step by step. And just as sleep heals the body, so too does this spiritual resting ground mend what was fractured by life's density. If you've ever longed for a peace that nothing in the world could give you, you are remembering this place. The echo lives within you. The stillness knows your name. And as we move deeper into the journey of spirit, we carry this vibration forward, into the next place of return. There is a dimension that does not soothe or rest, but awakens. Cayce called it the plane of soul lessons, a realm where spirits revisit the essence of who they have become, and more importantly, who they are becoming. This is not a place of punishment or reward, but of reckoning. It is where the soul gazes honestly into the mirror of its own evolution and begins to understand the tapestry it has been weaving across lifetimes. Here, the spirit encounters not only memories of its most recent life, but fragments of others, echoes from centuries past, still reverberating through choices made today. The soul does not see these as stories, but as frequencies. A choice made in anger carries a vibration. So does a choice made in love. Every act ripples not outward but inward, shaping the inner architecture of the self. Cayce revealed that in this realm, the soul becomes its own teacher. It reviews patterns. Why did I attract suffering again? Why did I repeat the same dynamic with a different face? Why did I ignore the call to forgive? These are not asked with shame, but with curiosity. For in this realm, the soul is safe. There is no condemnation, only understanding and a deep hunger to evolve. Often in this plane, souls work in small groups, clusters that have incarnated together in various roles: parent and child, friend and enemy, lover and rival. They meet again in spirit to untangle karmic threads and decide together what will come next. Next time I will be the one to leave, one soul might say, so that you can learn to let go. These are not punishments. They are soul-level agreements, formed not in pain but in deep love. Cayce described this dimension as dynamic. Not every soul enters it right away. Some pass directly into rest or study, depending on their spiritual state. But those who enter this realm are ready to grow. The energy here is not gentle. It vibrates with momentum, purpose, and a kind of sacred fire, not heat, but illumination, a light that exposes, clarifies, and purifies. One of the most profound aspects of this plane is the encounter with past selves, not as memories, but as living archetypes: a warrior self, a healer self, a deceiver, a saint. All live within the soul's eternal fabric, and in this realm, the spirit embraces them, not to judge, but to integrate. For only by accepting all aspects of itself can the soul move forward whole. The guides here are different, not soft-spoken beings of comfort, but wise teachers, sometimes stern, always compassionate. They challenge the soul to see beyond ego. They reveal patterns that repeat over centuries, gently asking, "Are you ready to choose differently?" In this way, karma is not punishment, it is curriculum, and the soul at last becomes an eager student. This realm is perhaps the most transformative of the five. It marks the turning point between who we were and who we are becoming. Not all spirits are ready for it. Some retreat to rest or choose to reincarnate first. But those who linger here, who dare to face the full spectrum of their being, are preparing for something more than another life. They are preparing for mastery. It is here that many old souls dwell between lives. Those who have loved deeply and lost greatly, those who have wounded and been wounded, those who seek not perfection, but truth. They do not fear this place, they long for it. For in this realm, the soul remembers why it came to earth in the first place, not to escape darkness, but to bring light into it. After the spirit has rested, reflected, and reckoned with its past, some souls are called to a different kind of realm, not of review, but of revelation. Edgar Cayce referred to it as a sphere of higher learning. It is a plane not defined by memory or healing, but by the expansion of spiritual consciousness itself. Here the soul moves beyond karma, beyond lessons, into the pure pursuit of truth. This is not a place of form, but of frequency. It doesn't resemble a city or a temple or a classroom, and yet it holds the essence of all three. It is structured, but fluid, a living field of intelligence designed not by human minds, but by divine architecture. In this space, the soul does not merely recall or reflect, it downloads. It absorbs knowledge not in words, but in waves. Here, truth is not taught, it is remembered. Who comes to this realm? Souls who have tasted lifetimes of growth and carry a strong inner desire for service, wisdom, and alignment. These spirits are not perfect, nor do they escape reincarnation, but they have reached a vibration that allows them to interact with higher planes of knowledge, universal truths, cosmic principles, sacred sciences. In Cayce's readings, he often described these souls as preparing for roles beyond the personal, souls being trained to assist the evolution of others. In this realm, the guides are not teachers in the traditional sense. They are known as keepers, ancient souls who hold vibrational patterns of planetary wisdom. Some of them have never incarnated on Earth. Others once walked as prophets, mystics, or quiet healers, now return to assist those still in the journey of becoming. The knowledge shared here is not academic, it is vibrational. Souls may be drawn to understand the laws of vibration, the design of spiritual geometry, or the flow of energetic healing through sound, light, and intention. These aren't intellectual pursuits, they are soul-level activations. The learning is not about gathering facts, but awakening memory. The soul does not become smarter, it becomes more aligned. One of the most sacred aspects of this realm is the communion with archetypal wisdom, divine patterns that exist beyond time. Some spirits are shown the blueprint of the human body as a light system, while others receive visions of Earth's energetic grids or the evolution of human consciousness across millennia. These visions are not grandiose, they are intimate, for the soul recognizes them not as new, but as home. Some who enter this realm do not return immediately to incarnation. They take on roles of guidance, becoming protectors, whisperers, silent companions to those still on Earth. These are not guardian angels in the traditional sense, but evolved souls whose love and service continue from beyond the veil. If you've ever felt protected in a moment you couldn't explain, this may have been one of them, reaching across dimensions in quiet devotion. For those who do return to Earth, the training from this sphere changes everything. They may be born with a deep inner knowing, or drawn to healing, teaching, or leading without any formal explanation. These souls often struggle at first, for the density of Earth feels foreign after such vibrational clarity. But in time they remember why they came, not just to learn, but to embody. This realm is not superior to the others. It is simply another facet of the journey. For every soul must rest, review, and reckon before it can rise to learn. And even then the cycle continues, not as a loop but as a spiral, upward, outward, homeward. What remains constant through it all is love, not as a feeling, but as a frequency. It is the current that runs through every realm, every lesson, every soul. And in the final chapter we will return to where all things begin and end, the place beyond return. All journeys, no matter how vast, circle back to their origin. Beyond the realms of rest, reflection, learning, and becoming, there is a realm Cayce alluded to only in whispers, a place so subtle, so luminous, that it defies the language of time and space. He called it simply the creative forces. Others have named it the source, the divine, the one. It is not a place in the way we understand place. It is presence, it is origin, and it is return. In this realm, spirit is not taught, it does not rest, it does not even remember. It becomes. It dissolves into the ocean of pure consciousness, the infinite mind of God, and yet paradoxically remains uniquely itself. This is the final destination for many, but not in the way one might expect. It is not an ending, it is a rejoining, a return to the field from which all things are born. Cayce's vision of this plane was sacred and mysterious. He suggested that few spirits reach it immediately. Most pass through the other realms, shaped by karma, nurtured by guides, stretched by purpose, before coming home. But when a soul returns to source, it is not erased, it is completed. Not dissolved in the way a drop disappears into the sea, but embraced, like a note finding its place in a perfect chord. In the creative forces, there is no need for contrast, no shadow to reveal light, no separation to remind us of love. Everything is one. The soul, still vibrating with its own frequency, is fully aligned with the greater harmony of all existence. Here, the divine plan is not understood. It is experienced, not as an idea, but as being itself. This is the realm where identity ends and essence begins. There is no you in the way you've known yourself, no role, no story, no timeline. And yet, the truth of you and the eternal spark that has journeyed through countless lifetimes remains. It shines not alone, but as part of the great light, the eternal chorus, the heartbeat of God. Souls that reach this place may stay for eons, or only moments. Time has no meaning here. Some choose to return again to form, to descend back into density and birth, not out of karma, but out of love. These are the ones Cayce spoke of as bodhisattvas, light-bearers, beings who have no need to return, but do so for the healing of the world. What draws a soul back from the highest realms? A child's cry, a war left unresolved, a lover's prayer whispered in the dark, and so the cycle continues, not because the soul is incomplete, but because the universe is still becoming. And every return, every incarnation becomes an offering, not a burden, but a gift. The journey through these 5 realms, the hall of records, the plane of rest, the realm of soul lessons, the sphere of higher learning, and the source, is not a ladder to climb, but a circle of becoming. The soul may travel these paths in many orders, in many lives, in many ways, but the essence remains. We are not lost. We are returning, always returning. And so we end where all things begin, not in fear, but in light, not in doctrine, but in remembrance. The afterlife, as Cayce revealed, is not a sentence. It is a symphony. Each of us a note, each life a movement, each return sacred. You are not alone in this journey. You never were. And now that you've walked these 5 places with me, perhaps you'll feel the subtle pull, the call of home, a little more clearly. If this journey stirred something within you, subscribe to the channel and click the next video now. You're not here by accident. Something deeper is waking up. Let it rise.